G'day, I'm Kevin. I've retired from work in Australia and am living the dream here in Thailand, exploring, learning and travelling. Based here in Chiang Mai, Thailand, and the adventure continues. This is 52 weeks. I've been leading a very peaceful life here in Chiang Mai. Well, some months are more peaceful than others. In August I had a visit, so that was a little busier than usual. And October I'm doing a bit of travel and having another visitor. And then in December I'll be heading back to Australia for Christmas break. But they're a little bit busier than usual, but still pretty peaceful. September and the first part of October has been very peaceful. Yeah. I'm having a very lazy Sunday today. Just popped by to a cafe near my place and I'm just enjoying the view and the coffee and doing a bit of reading. One of the people who has been watching my videos from the very beginning made a request that I give a bit of an outline of what I'm reading, because I do mention it quite a bit, and I thought, seeing as we were talking about reading in this video, now would be a good time. So, I'm reading lots of things. I had masses of books when I lived in Australia, and lots of those I sold. Took great effort to make sure that they didn't go into landfill. I sold them to a place that was going to resell them. So for me, that's important, that books don't go into landfill, but they go into other people's hands. So that's what I did in Australia. And I've brought some of the key books with me that I wanted to have another read of, but more about that in a minute. Firstly, I do read a bit of non-fiction. So to start with, I do a bit of reading for education purposes on Thai language. That's one of my school books. That's the one I'm just in the class I'm in at the moment. And to improve my reading, I've been reading some other books on that. I've got a couple of Thai reading and language books that were given to me by a friend in Thailand for my birthday. So if you're watching, thank you for that. They've come in real handy. And I'm also reading a few things to try and improve my reading skills. So that's coming along slowly. You know, all these things take time. So, and that's a kind of a more step-by-step reading book that I've just got, and I'm going to have a go get through that as well. That's not the only non-fiction I read. I do read some books on Thai history and Lana history and, you know, Thai culture, you know, those sorts of things. It's the Lana history one I was trying to find a minute ago. So I do a bit of non-fiction reading, not a huge amount. Mostly I read fiction. And as I said, I brought some books with me from my library. I had some books that, as I was going through it and boxing them up to be resold, that I thought I would just want to have another read of before I sent them out into the world again. So I've been reading fiction. At the moment I'm reading The New Shoe, which is one of the Boney books, which is they're about an Aboriginal detective in Australia. I'm enjoying them. They were written in the, you know, between the 1930s and 1950s, so they're a bit dated in some ways, but I'm still enjoying them, and he's a great character. Been catching up on some crime fiction, The Big Sleep, which is a great movie too if you get a chance to watch the movie with Humphrey Bogart in it. But I've been reading that book, and The Maltese Falcon, another good movie, but I've been reading that. And speaking of good movies, To Sir With Love, so I like to read novels of movies, and these are ones I wanted to catch up with again, as I say. And some books from my Year 12 study. So that one, for example, which is The Slave, which was one of my books I studied in what we called in those days HSC. So I've been catching up with those books. I've also been reading books that people have been kind enough to give me as gifts. So I'm making my way through them. That's one my sister gave me for Christmas last year. That's a really good fantasy book. If you get a chance, have a look at that one. I'm hoping that there's going to be some sequels to it, because I really enjoyed it, and I hope I get to continue the story. So that's one. And my first Terry Pratchett Discworld novel, which I was given as a gift also. So I've been catching up on some of that gift reading, and I've also been catching up on some classics that I have been meaning to read. So, that's The End of the Affair, a really interesting novel. So I really enjoyed that one, finished it, great. And, To Kill a Mockingbird. Yeah, so that's it. I read lots of fiction novels. I read lots of fiction. That's probably a better way to say it. And I've still got a bit to go. Still got a few books from my past that I want to revisit and have a look at. And I still have a few books from my classics range that I have sitting on my shelf and waiting for me to kind of wend my way through them. So plenty of good reading to come. So as I say, September has been a quiet month. My days consist of a fairly relaxed routine. It's not unusual to spot me at a coffee shop or tea house, just relaxing and having a cool drink. There's quite a few coffee shops along the river which are pleasant. This one's near my place. From
เรียนภาษาไทยด้วยผมเรียนภาษาไทย10 ตัวแล้วผมพูดภาษาไทยได้นิดหน่อยและผมอ่านภาษาไทยนิดหน่อย My apologies to people who speak Thai for that butchering of the language, but I am getting better. So I was surprised when Ray was here. I was able to communicate mostly about food and mostly about directions with tuk-tuk drivers. But 6 months ago, would not have been able to do that. And it's good to study Thai. It's good to exercise the mind, and it's useful. So I'm going to live here for a long time. Hopefully I'll be able to speak relatively fluently. I don't think I'll ever be able to speak Thai really fluently. The tones are terrible. Well, my tone's terrible.ผมฟังภาษาไทยไม่ได้เพราะว่าคนไทยพูดภาษาไทยเร็ว But as I say, I'm getting better and better, and hopefully I'll get better at hearing Thai as well. So I will be able to communicate more effectively. My life here in Thailand is certainly much more peaceful than my life was in Australia. That was full of activity. I was working at the time, so that contributed to my busyness and my kind of hustle and bustle. But yeah, here I don't have a lot of the responsibilities I had in Australia, and I just get to wander around, have a look at some things, get myself a nice iced tea whenever I want one. Catch up on my reading, do a bit of learning. It's a good lifestyle. And although the last half of the year has had some months in it that were busier than usual, it's still pretty peaceful. But I must say I have enjoyed having friends visit. It was great having Ray here, and I'm looking forward to my other visitor and a bit more travel over the next couple of months. Anyhow, I think I'll get back to my book and have a bit of a relax and finish off my iced tea. Who knows, might even have another one. So that's it for me today. A very peaceful day. And I will catch you next time. Thanks for watching my video. I really appreciate the company. If you made it all the way to the end here but aren't a subscriber, you might like to consider subscribing by clicking here. Or if you just like to see something else that I've made, click here for something I think you'd like. And if you're feeling like a real binge, click here and it will take you to one of my playlists. Hope to see you on the journey again soon.